Hi, gratitude seekers, and welcome to a new episode of the Gratitude Podcast. Today, I want you to meet Corrina Gordon-Barnes. She has been an entrepreneur for 10 plus years, and her business is focused on marriage, where gratitude can make all the difference. And I'm sure you know that. Corrina, welcome. How are you today?
Thank you. Grateful would be the right answer, right? Yeah, grateful, happy. It's sunny here in Cambridge.
Awesome. It's beautiful that you do this work. I myself I think I have the biggest challenge is being grateful being in a relationship, because I feel like it's so much easier to point to the other person and say that the other person is to blame, and how can I be grateful for the other person? She's like,
yeah, pull your hair out. I had someone say I have murderous thoughts about my husband. It can be that strong, our feelings of blame, resentment, anger at our partner.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And how do we deal with this?
Well, so for me, my approach is that we deal with the thoughts. So I work with one person. So many people who work with marriages work with the couple. I work with one person because in my experience, it's one person's thoughts about the other one that causes your pain. So my experience of my marriage is it's eroded by my thoughts that I have, my negative thoughts, the blaming thoughts, the angry, resentful thoughts that I have about my wife. They're my thoughts. So therefore that's what's to deal with, not her, to leave her to do her thing, to deal with my thoughts. So it's incredibly powerful when one person is willing to take responsibility for how they perceive their partner.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And I also realized this because this tendency of blaming the other person for the feelings or for the things that are not okay in our life is really big. And when that happens, you can't focus on gratitude. You can't focus both on the negative things and also be grateful for the positive.
Yeah, and where that comes from often is that we think we have these needs that need to be met by our partner. And so often people will say, my needs aren't being met. And that's when resentment comes in. And actually, what if we question those needs? So rather than questioning the relationship, which is what often we do, or questioning the other person and whether they're good enough for us or meeting our needs, we can do that. But an alternative, a really healthy alternative, is to question those needs. Do I actually need my partner to do exactly this, my script that I have for them? Do I really need them to do that in order for me to be happy? Or can I look at what they actually are doing and find the gratitude in that? Find what they are doing and wow, actually, there is something really positive about this action. You have to sometimes look quite deeply for that.
Yeah, totally. Because the tendency is always to see the things that come up and see them in the other person and not realize that in fact you're responsible for them, and that it's also your power, responsibility, the ability to respond differently.
Yeah, I love that you said power, because sometimes people think, no, I don't want to take responsibility, it's their fault. And actually that is such a disempowering perspective, being a victim, blaming, complaining, feeling like they're in the wrong, doing it to us. Actually such a powerful perspective is to get into, okay, where am I seeing parts of myself here? What's my part? What's my role in this dynamic? What could I change in order for this relationship to work so much better? So it's incredibly liberating.
Amazing. So I know that you're a grateful person and that you apply gratitude in your own life and in your marriage also. And I know that you have a habit of writing a gratitude list. Can you tell us more about how you do it?
Yeah, it's the most important practice. So every day I have a friend who sends me her list of her gratitudes.
Wonderful.
And that part's really important, because when I see her email in my inbox, that then is my trigger to respond to that with my gratitude. So it really worked for me. You know, for years I've been trying to have like a daily gratitude list where I wrote in my journal, and I just wasn't doing it. And it was only when my friend started sending me hers, and she's really consistent. You know, she doesn't miss it. I think maybe if she's traveling, she'll miss a day, but then the next day she'll do 30. So every day it's 15. So then if she's missed a day, she does, but it's so rare that she even misses it. So when I see that, when I'm going through my email, that's what I do. I respond to her email with my 15 things that I'm grateful for that day.
Wow.
And, at first I was like, 15? I can't come up with 15 things. And sometimes my list has gone to 60. And what I try is to find different things, things that I haven't noticed before. It's just the best practice in the world.
Wonderful, wonderful. I think this is really useful. And I didn't think about doing this. It seems so simple. Like you just need a friend, you need an email. I think most people have an email.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much time does it take for you to write this?
Could be 10 minutes, maybe even 5. If it's like number one, my kettle, right? Just that I get to boil water and have a nice cup of tea. So kettle takes 5 seconds to write. So I could, if I'm like quite in a rush, it might even just take a few minutes. But sometimes I want to just really sink in and look for things that are a bit deeper. Because actually one of my favorite things to do is not just look for the obvious gratitude things, like, oh, the sun is shining and, I have a nice house, but to look for things that I'm grateful for in the challenging bits. So let's say I've had an argument with my wife. Okay. Now I could just ignore that and look for everything else that I'm grateful for. But actually it's really valuable to look in the argument for what was I grateful for in that argument? Like I didn't say that thing that was in my head. I could have said that would have been really mean. I'm really grateful that I had some kind of a censor that didn't say that thing.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah. Or, I'm really grateful that we had that argument before we went to see my parents. And so that, it cleared the air before then. Just, rather than just looking elsewhere, look in the challenge for gratitude.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah. I think this is really good because for some people, it might be some kind of a refuge to just think of the gratitude in spite of knowing how they actually feel and the fact that some things are really bothering them, and they you can focus on the positive, on the gratitude, on the things that you are grateful for, but the emotional things that come up, they are really hard to mess around with, and doing something with them, I think is the best way. And it's a really
I'm really not into escapism. I think just getting more into reality is what we actually want to be doing. Like with my marriage coaching clients, when I work with them, it's all about seeing reality more. It's not about bypassing things or let's just be happy. No. It's like deeply just being present with what is actually real. And actually reality is often kinder than we think it is if we stop to look at it. Wonderful.
I really didn't think of it like this. To be more, wonderful. So do you have some kind of words of wisdom that you love about gratitude?
Yeah, it's actually there's a quote that I love by Muhammad Ali that is not about gratitude, but I have kind of co-opted it for gratitude. So he says, service to others is the rent we pay for our room on earth.
Wow.
And when I heard that, where I was in my life was I was feeling guilty for how much I had. I was feeling like I have this amazing marriage, I have this wonderful family, I have this wonderful home, and I have so much. And I started to have this sense of guilt with that, of like, how do I deserve this? And this isn't fair. And I was like, how do I feel okay with what I have? And yes, absolutely. As Muhammad Ali says, absolutely. Being of service to others is core and key. That is my rent that I pay. And the other part of it is gratitude, is the rent that I pay for all the wonderful things I have. You know, like if I have curtains, that many people in this world don't have curtains. So how do I pay kind of, what's the rent that I owe for those curtains is gratitude. If I just like ignored them and, carried on and took everything for granted, that's not the way. The way is to be so grateful for everything that I have. And that is how I make it okay for myself to have wonderful things in life, people and also material things.
Yeah, that's great. I wasn't thinking about this part, that you can have so many things and feel guilty that you have them. And yeah, gratitude can help you with this also, because when you are grateful, you feel the fact that you are abundant. And I think there is a scientific study or something like this that links gratitude to generosity.
Yes.
When you are more grateful, it's easier to be more generous also.
Yes. Yeah, that makes absolute sense to me.
Because
and being grateful for the things that we just take so for granted, like hot water coming out of a tap, or cold water that we can drink coming out of a tap. And if I'm aware of those and present to those, and I'm acknowledging those, of course, when someone asks me to do them a favor or someone needs something, it's like, I have so much, of course I'll give to you. Mm-hmm. So that makes total sense to me that they're linked.
Awesome. So did you have some moment in your life in which things weren't like all peachy and everything was perfect? Yeah. And do you feel like gratitude has helped you in that moments?
Yeah, when I look back to some times in my life where I've been really low, actually I didn't have gratitude, and that was the problem. That was the problem, of that I didn't. My mind was so stuck in that negative thinking, poor me, or complaining, blaming, that kind of mindset, and I didn't have a gratitude practice at that time. I think, it's such an interesting one, because I think sometimes when I was growing up, my mum would say things like, and bless my mum, I love my mum, would say things like, you've got nothing to complain about, you should be grateful. And I think there's something that's problematic about that, because I think we do actually need to get out our pain. If we're feeling sad, we're feeling angry, we're feeling frustrated, we need a chance to express that, to it's like a poison or a toxin that's in us. We need to get it out. But then sometimes we stay there too long, in the kind of wallowing in the misery. So I think we need to get that out, but then move to gratitude. And I feel like in the low points in my life, I didn't. I either stayed too long in the misery, or I tried to jump straight to like, I should be grateful. But I shortcut. I tried to take a shortcut, and actually I bypassed some really important healing stuff that needed to come out. So now that I have that gratitude practice, I can't stay in a low point, because every day there'll be that list to write. And even if I'm feeling like, I'll read my friend's list, and as I'm reading her list, it will trigger my ideas of like, she's grateful the bus was on time. Okay, what am I grateful that was on time? Oh yeah, the post came before I left the house. That was okay. It's the little things when you're trying to kind of claw your way back up when you've been feeling low.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And how do you keep this habit fresh? It's really important to have this habit of doing something that helps you to be grateful, because life is not like everything is like going up all the time. In my experience and with all the people that I've talked to, it's like this, up and down, up and down.
Yeah.
And, this is why it's important to have this habit of
Yeah.
writing a list or doing something that helps you to be grateful.
Yeah.
But I don't know, doing the same thing all the time, doesn't it get like boring or something like that? How do you keep it fresh?
Mm. Well, I try to make sure that I don't say the same thing. If like every day it was like, I'm grateful for the sunshine, I'm grateful for and what's great is that my friend isn't like that. So, she'll put things like, I love Lycra. Okay. Like her workout gear, her Lycra workout gear, it's real, or she's grateful that, her kid only cried for 10 minutes rather than 20. So there's like an irreverence about it. It's not gratitude like it's supposed to look. It's real gratitude. I'm grateful there was a packet of tissues there when I was bawling my eyes out in the cafe, or just really real things. Because she's sharing it with me, she doesn't have to put on a front or make it look pretty, or it's just real. And that's what keeps it fresh, is that it's really, this is what I'm truly, truly grateful for. Because, for years I tried to do this gratitude list, and like I said, it didn't work. And partly it didn't work because I felt I should be grateful for things like the sunshine. And actually I hadn't noticed the sunshine that day, or, I was actually more grateful that, I don't know, the chair had a hard back because my back hurt. And so just keeping it real is what keeps it fresh.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I think this is a really good way of doing this gratitude list, because you also connect with your friend.
Yeah.
Like you keep each other updated, and you talk about the positive things, about the things that make you feel grateful. I think this is really awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to know her so well through these lists. I know where she shops. I know, what classes she's been to. Like, she's been to Zumba that day. I know everything about her because it's what she's grateful for. It's what she's put her focus on.
Awesome. Yeah, I think this is something really, I should do it also. It's really good because with all of the work that I'm doing, it's really hard sometimes to keep up with my friends, to talk with everyone. And I think this way it's much better. It's not like you yourself have to do something all by yourself. You do it with friends.
Yeah.
And this is awesome.
Yeah.
This is a good idea.
Yeah. Yeah, often actually on our list we put, I'm grateful for you, to our friend, to each other. That's really sweet.
I'm sure. I think it's like every other day you're going to do that.
Right. Yeah.
I'm grateful for you sending me this email. This is awesome.
Back and forth.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Awesome. All right. So do you have like a meaningful experience that made you into a more grateful person, or were you like grateful all the time?
I wasn't grateful all the time, no. Definitely when I got that I could look in the challenging bits for gratitude. So I had a bad back for 6 months, like a really bad back, and I got into a real grump with it. I was like, this bad back, and I can't type, and I can't sit and do my work, and I was getting angry and frustrated. And then suddenly one day I was like, what could I be grateful for about this bad back? How could this actually be a good thing? And that's so challenging for the mind, right? It's like like, whoa, hang on, grateful? I've got a bad back. This is a problem. It's like, no, hang on. Why is it? How could this be a good thing? How could I be grateful for this? And I started to see like people care. It's showing me that people care. I'm getting massages, which are very, I like getting massage. It means that I'm only doing the essential work, and I'm learning what is essential and what I can actually, I've just been wasting time, on Facebook or something.
Yeah.
So it just started me and I just kept looking and looking for what can I be grateful about. And then after the 6 months, when the back pain actually, it went, every morning since then, I have woken up and gone, I don't have back pain. Thank goodness I don't have back pain. Whereas before the back pain, I didn't think about my back. I just got up in the morning and off I went. But now it's because it's in contrast to that period of time. I think if we've had a period of time with anything that's gone kind of wrong, you know, in our life, maybe it's a troubled time in a relationship, or it's a health issue, when we're out of that period, it makes us so grateful. It can make us so grateful that we don't have that anymore, or that we're past that, and we don't take it for granted anymore. I think that's key to gratitude, that it helps us to not take things for granted.
Yeah, exactly. This is what I also do when somebody is sick. I feel like compassion, and I feel bad for that person that's sick. But I also think, oh my God, when I'm sick, I think about the fact that, oh, it would be so great to be healthy and to be able to do all these things, but we don't realize this until we are sick. And I think we can switch that, and we can see, and I'm healthy today. I can do so many things, even though my health might not be perfect or stuff like that, but I'm healthy.
Yes.
I can go about my day. I can do all these things and that I have to do, or that I want to do, or that I love to do.
Yeah.
And that's awesome to experience this, and to realize that you're actually lucky.
Yeah. And, you know, looking like, sometimes a gratitude list could look like, I'm grateful for all these things that I don't have. You know, it's not just things that I have. Like, I'm grateful that I don't have technical issues today. I'm grateful that I don't have back pain today. I'm grateful that I don't have, you know, like, you could just list, like, I don't have a cold today. I don't have the flu today. I don't have earache today. You can have a whole gratitude list of that. 15 things you don't have could be really powerful.
Exactly. Especially if you had them like in a recent time, or you've been with some health issues for a while, and now you're free from them.
Yeah. And you know, in my topic in marriage, that's a really powerful list as well. Not just what you're grateful for about your partner, but what you're grateful for that they're not. You know, and
exactly, yeah. And I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
You know, with Sam, so often I am grateful that she is not who I want her to be. So that sounds kind of bizarre, right? Like, why wouldn't I want her to be who I want her to be? But you know, let's say, for example, I want her to be really, like, on my side, approving of every decision I make, always saying yes to all my ideas, always saying, oh yeah, that's brilliant, you should definitely do that. She's not like that. She will question the things that I think I want to do. And at first I can be like, oh, you're stopping me from, you know, you're stopping me from doing opportunities, or, but actually, if I let myself be grateful for who she is, which is someone who says no to things, you know, and can see the potential problems with things. If I can let myself be grateful for who she actually is, rather than trying to have her be who I, you know, think I want her to be, I am so grateful that she's not who I want her to be.
Yeah, and the fact that she's sincere.
She's sincere, you know. It would be
tells you.
She does, you know. It would be really, really easy. There was just a really simple example. There was this conference that I was asked to speak at, and I thought, yeah, I'll go. You know, I've been before, and, you know, was planning to go. And she was like, are you sure it's a good idea? You know, here are some reasons why it maybe is not a good idea to go this time. And I remember being so angry with her. I'm like, why can't you just say yes? You know, I want you to be the person who just says, great idea, Corrina, just go do it. And she didn't. And I was angry. But as I kind of went through my day, it suddenly came to me. I was walking up the stairs and it suddenly came to me, oh my, I don't want to go to this conference this year. I don't want to go. And as soon as I let myself feel that, I just had this overwhelming gratitude for her, that she cared enough to question it. Because so many people would just say, oh yeah, lovely, and, you know, go back to watching television. But actually, someone who's willing to take the time to call you on stuff and to point out things that you might not want them to point out, that's one to be grateful for sure.
Yeah, exactly. It's not easy at first, but it's great afterwards. Many times in a relationship, I see this happening, that at first I'm like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
Afterwards, I realized maybe she was right. It's like, Interesting.
Yeah.
I was wrong, actually.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. And then you can go to her and say, thank you.
Exactly.
Thank you for pointing out something about myself or about this situation that I didn't want to see. You know, I think our partners are our mirrors. So they will hold things that we don't want to see about ourselves, about how we're showing up, about the things that we should be giving ourselves, you know, like self-care. Often, you know, I should be giving myself more self-care, but I'm projecting that and thinking that my partner should care about me more. And it's like, if we can just say, thank you that you show me all this about myself. You know, if we really see, and this is the work that I do with marriages, if we can see our partner as our mirror, then how can we be anything but grateful for them, for showing us who we really are?
Exactly. Exactly. Even if sometimes we would like to not to see that mirror, like
Oh, yeah.
it's too much to see it.
Yes. Really hard to see it. Really hard to see it. Take a deep breath and then look.
Yeah. This is the truth, actually. This is how we are, and what we see in the other person is actually what we somehow see in ourselves, and something that's inside of us. And
Yeah.
yeah, you
Yeah.
can't run away from that.
Yeah. Yeah. And what I'm really grateful for is every time I blame Sam for something, you know, she's done this, she's that, she should be doing this instead. Every time I blame her, I'm really grateful for that blame, because that blame is really, really important. Because if I can put that blame on paper and I can look at, okay, how is this a mirror for me? Then that blame, I can alchemize that blame. It becomes golden. It becomes really precious and important to me. So I'm grateful that I have a partner there to project onto, as long as I remember that that's what she's there for, as long as I don't get caught up in thinking that she's really
Exactly.
the problem.
Yes, someone said at one point something like, if you want real personal development, you should get into a relationship, because that's where all the things come up, and that's where you get to the things that you need to work on.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Thank you for showing me. Thank you for showing me. That's the thing to us to say to our partner. Thank you for showing me who I am.
Yeah, exactly. The good and
The good and the bad. Yeah.
yeah, and the things that we can improve.
Yeah.
So, like you said, it wasn't easy from the beginning to be grateful.
Mm-mm.
And you weren't like, since you were born, you were grateful all the time. What would you tell your younger self about gratitude and being grateful?
But it's not a should. You know, I really like the message that I got was like, you should be grateful, and look at how much you have to be grateful for. Look at the trees and the birds. And I didn't care about the trees and the birds. So I would say to that younger self, do gratitude because you want to do it, not because someone tells you that you should do it. And be grateful for things that you're truly grateful for. It doesn't have to look the way that you think it has to look. It's the weird things that you're grateful for that really are meaningful. And also I would say that gratitude is a muscle. It just needs some training, you know, just and daily, needs daily training. And then you'll just, in your daily life, you'll be walking along and, you know, like something, I was up in the bathroom earlier and something fell on my foot. I was like, oh, you know, Sam had left this thing in the bathroom. But because my mind is now trained to gratitude, I picked it up and it was actually something, she's putting up a towel rail. And it was because I asked her, like, could you please put up a towel rail? And so rather than, oh, it fell on my foot, my mind is trained to go to, oh, she's putting up a towel rail for me.
Wow.
And so it
Oh,
just, you know,
wonderful.
it just switches. It switches the mind. The mind needs training. It's such a, you know, it's such a wild beast, this mind. It needs training, and gratitude is a track that it really likes to be trained in.
It really is, and this is what I also believe. And the fact that we are able to have this muscle worked on every day, it helps us a lot, especially when it's not really that easy to be grateful. Because when it's all perfect, sunny, and everything is going great, it's easy to be grateful. Everyone can do that.
Yeah.
But I think gratitude and living in a grateful way is a way of life.
Yeah.
a way of seeing life, actually.
Mm.
And it's not that dependent on the exterior things that happen.
No.
Since I've began this podcast and I've talked with people, I've never got to hear that life is perfect and everything is always easy and flowing. And even if that's beautiful, and but our attitude of gratitude can help a lot.
Yeah.
Seeing things differently, seeing life differently, and enjoying and being grateful for the things that are.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, so we are nearing the end of our discussion, and I want to ask you if you have some people that you are grateful for that you want to mention.
Yeah, so Sam, like I mentioned earlier, my wife, grateful for all the ways she's not as I would want her to be. I think it would be so easy to say, I'm grateful that she's, this wonderful thing and this wonderful thing. It's the places where she challenges me, and where she shows me that I'm not, she doesn't follow my script. That's not the point of a partner, to follow your script. My partner's job is to follow her own script for life, and for me then to find gratitude with what she's bringing me. That is not as I would have had scripted it, but it's much better than I would have scripted it. So she's definitely one. My dear friend who started this gratitude practice off for me, and her consistency is absolutely key for me. So I'm very, very grateful for her. And then, a couple of things come to mind. I'm really grateful for people who I don't even tell that I'm grateful for. I'm really grateful when people let me out in traffic. When I'm like waiting in, to find a gap in the traffic, and someone just stops. And I'm never going to say thank you to them in person. They don't know who I am. I don't know who they are. But they decide to care about me. They decide to think about how my journey might be, or just do the right thing and let me out in traffic. And I'm really grateful for that. And similarly, I was once on a train to London, and I left my bag in the toilet of the train. And I didn't realize it was like a bag within a bag. And I didn't realize it until I'd got out of the train. And I was so upset that I'd lost this bag, and, all these things that I was going to have to replace that were in it. And when I got back to the station, someone had handed it in. Someone had taken it off the train and had given it to Cambridge train station. And again, I'll never know who that person is, but I mean, they would have saved me hours of my life.
How wonderful, yeah. And
just showed me that people, people are good. I really believe people are good, and will do good things. So there's, lots of people I'm grateful for, but they come to mind. Awesome.
And where can people find you? Where can people see your work?
So I'm at CorrinaGordonBarnes.com, and that is spelled CORRINA, and then Gordon, GORDON, and Barnes, BARNES.com.
Awesome. Yeah. So they can go there and see what you're doing and get in contact with you. And
yes, so they can get in contact with me to book a consultation for marriage coaching. It's for one person, and there are different options for support, so they can just drop me a line that way. Would love to hear from people. And also people can sign up to email updates, because what I do is I take really normal, common marriage issues. And if you're not in a marriage, but you are in a relationship, any relationship, it's the same challenges. I'll share things like, what do you do if your partner doesn't listen to you? Or what do you do if your partner always criticizes you? So I share blogs and videos to help with really common relationship challenges.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for being here and for sharing these amazing tips and tricks with us and your life story. It has been a great pleasure, and it was really nice to have you here.
Yeah, you're really welcome. Thank you for the work that you're doing. Really grateful to have been here with you.
Thank you so much.